Welcome back to this Money Control live stream. You're watching Closing Bell with me, Nandita, Khemka, and my colleague.
Hello there, I'm Yatin, Mota, and Nandita introduced, but best wishes for Diwali from all of us at Money Control, especially the video team. And obviously the markets, the setup is not Diwali-like sparkling, but I suppose that this is probably an opportunity which has been sent, during the period of Diwali. Last 7-8 days has been volatile for the markets, but let's hope this new Diwali illuminates your portfolio, enhances your portfolio returns, and the financial freedom that you're seeking, should start anytime with this Diwali. If you're a new investor, if you're a seasoned investor, if you're a trader. So all the very best from all of us here in the period of Diwali.
Absolutely. Wishing everyone a very, very happy Diwali and a profitable year ahead at that. Of course, as Yatin mentioned, the setup isn't all that great. The mood has been spoiled, so to say, and especially in the month of October. Otherwise, Samvat 2080, has been an immaculate year for the market, right? We've seen, the Nifty, Sensex, broader markets hitting record highs despite negative news.
Correct.
We've seen markets conquering new heights, and of course, last month has not been all that great. But market experts have pointed out that you can not only avail discounts when it comes to electronic stuff
Correct.
and your clothings, etc. But stocks are also now available at a discount, so that could be a silver lining. But otherwise, if you look at the month of October, Yatin, the Nifty has shaved off 6% from its all-time highs. Yeah. It's the biggest fall for the market since COVID times. And but going ahead, market experts have also pointed out that this could be just a blip. Temporary blip, although return expectations may have to be tempered a little for 2081. Markets may not really mirror the kind of gains that we saw in 2080 Samvat. But nevertheless, the fundamentals of Indian economy are strong. So you can expect gains. But looking at today's session in particular, Yatin, we tested that 24,200 level intraday, barely managed to shut shop above that level. But it was the IT pack, that was spoiling the mood and how, given the fact that the Nifty IT index was down by 3%. And aside of that, mid-caps were under pressure, but small caps continued to shine, right? Another 1% kind of an uptick coming in on the small cap index. The advanced decline ratio, because of that, was tilted in favor of gainers today as well. Aside of, IT, all the other sectors were in the red, barring the Pharma pack. That was, of course, supported by very healthy gains coming in on the shares of Cipla. Media was the other pack that held out in the green. But let me quickly take you through some of the gainers and losers. Cipla, as I mentioned, almost 10% uptick. Yatin, it has recouped all the losses that it saw in the last two sessions. L&T, an earnings surprise, so to say, because that stock was also up and about. Dr. Reddy's, Hero Moto, ONGC, M&M, these are some of the other movers. But on the flip side, top 5 losers on the Nifty index were from the IT pack. So all these TCS, Infosys, Tech Mahindra, HCL, Tech Wipro, all of them emerging as the top laggards. Aside of that, you had Tata Consumer. Trent has been under a fair bit of selling pressure off late, continues to extend losses. Maruti, ICICI Bank also under a bit of selling pressure. But Yatin, what's up? What's happening with the broader markets?
So, as you're mentioning, the advanced decline ratio was almost 2:1. So, like yesterday, the overall market breadth was positive despite the market pressure. So, barring the large caps, mid caps saw some bit of good moves coming in. Stocks like LG Equipment, Rainbow Paper, DOMS, all of these stocks moved 8-10%. Tejas Networks, which is a Tata Group company, 7% higher. Anantraj, Apar Industries, Network 18, PPL Pharma. Jupiter Wagons, this is one of the top picks of brokerages when it comes to the Diwali season. So all of these stocks did well. What was not doing well is AB Capital and 5-Star Finance posed the numbers. Both stocks saw 6 to 7% decline. Philip Carbon Black, Balrampur Chini also witnessing some bit of profit taking. Overall, it was a mixed session. But yes, stocks like UTI, AMC, Suven Pharma, Gillette hitting new fresh 52-week highs in trade today.
Well, that's right. Those were the movers and shakers from the broader end of the markets. But let's touch upon what really happened in the IT pack, right? Under severe pressure. And IT stocks have been under pressure of late, right? But today that was exacerbated given the fact that we had some of the earnings coming out in the US, right? Meta, Microsoft. These are some of the companies that reported numbers. Also, Capgemini, a French company, had cut its revenue estimate for the year. That also weighing heavy. And of course, we have the impending US elections as well, the verdict on November 5th. That will be crucial because that will determine, that will take out some uncertainty when it comes to how the demand environment will really pan out in the US. And of course, large cap and mid cap IT firms are dependent on how discretionary demand really picks up in US as well. But looking at the performance of some of these mega cap IT names in the US, Microsoft reported healthy numbers, although Street wasn't really very happy with it because AI investments, according to Microsoft, will not be enough to keep pace with the capacity constraints at its data centers. And Microsoft has said that it won't be able to address the AI capacity constraints until the second half of its current fiscal year. Meanwhile, Meta also warned of significant acceleration in infrastructure expenses in 2025. That's also something that disappointed the Street, which is why both the stocks saw a fair bit of sell-off in after-hours trading yesterday. And it had a rub-off effect on our IT stocks as well. But aside of that, if you look at Capgemini, it has cut its revenue estimate for the year ending in December. And this is the second time this year that the company has, cut its guidance. And it continues to see weakness in its key markets, right? In July, it had forecast, a surprise fall in its annual revenue due to a downturn in the auto and aerospace sectors, so to say. Now it expects degrowth of 2 to 2.5%, 2 to 2.4% in its constant currency revenue. It had previously guided for a degrowth of 0.5 to 1.5%.
Correct.
So that's something that weighed in on sentiment. Aside of that, it has also cut its margin guidance to 13.3 to 13.4 from 13.3 to 13.6%. Aside of that, of course, as I mentioned, IT stocks are also facing volatility both in US and India on the back of what really happens with the US election verdict. But look at the IT stocks today. I think on the Nifty IT pack, all of the 10 constituents were trading in the red. The likes of Persistent, Emphasis, Tech Mahindra, as I had already mentioned, L&T Tech, Coforge, all these mid-cap names were also under severe pressure today.
Absolutely, and the commentary from all of the larger IT companies, the likes of Accenture, Capgemini, clearly impact the Indian IT companies. Obviously, the weakness is more on the manufacturing side, wherein Indian IT companies are focused more on the BFSI side. So not a very big impact, but yes, sentimentally, clearly this news playing a spoil sport for the IT index, at least for today. But moving from IT to infra, and L&T, India's largest infra company, reported earnings, post which we saw some good upgrades coming in. Shares of L&T surged almost 6% in trade today. CLSA has a buy target with number of 4151. Bernstein has a target of 3,900, very close to that, and Nomura also has a buy rating with a target of 4,100. Now, if you look at the infra segment margins, that surprised the Street because we saw a better than expected performance with almost a 0.5% to 60 basis point surprise on the positive side. In fact, if you look at the exploration, construction margin, that was also quite strong. If you look at the overall execution, that also picked up nearly 27% on a year-on-year basis. So that was a surprise. And order inflows were also on the better side. In fact, Bernstein also says that despite a higher base last time, we had execution and working capital clearly on the positive side. If you look at Nomura, the guidance looks achievable for the company, and order inflow has beat the estimates by nearly 43%. So, if you look at order inflows, if you look at margin performance, and if you look at the execution, all these three important buckets have worked for L&T, and hence the surge of the share price. I remember yesterday Nandita was talking about how before the results, a lot of brokerages were wary about execution, wary about how the order book will shape up, especially in Gulf. But I think all of these concerns were allayed by the management in the conference call, and the result was a strong rally in the share price today, 6% surge coming in for that stock.
That's true, Yatin, and also they have stuck to their margin guidance as well, and even order inflow guidance, which order book is also pretty healthy, right?
Correct.
And most analysts have also pointed out that after the kind of correction L&T has seen, the risk reward is looking fairly attractive, and of course outlook is also pretty strong going ahead from here. So this stock, of course, in focus, and saw a good healthy run in an otherwise weak market. The other stock that was largely on steroids today was Cipla, almost a 10% uptick coming in. It has clearly recouped all the losses that it saw post its earnings, where management had given a cautious outlook. And but that cloud may be clearing because Goa unit, one of the key units of Cipla, it has received some bit of good news. and that had sent the stock rallying in trade. US FDA, of course, has classified its Goa unit as voluntary action indicated, and this facility was actually inspected back in June, and it was a major overhang on the stock as well, right? US FDA at that point of time had issued 6 observations for the unit, but this status of voluntary action indicated now clears the way for key niche launches like generic Abraxane. And so because of this, basically this is a chemotherapy drug which is used to treat cancer, and this drug or this generic has a market size of $700 million. So now only one generic player, that is Sandoz, that has clearance to launch drugs. But with this status, the launch of this drug from Cipla stable will happen much earlier than what the street was estimating because of this regulatory issue that the Goa unit was facing. Let's see what brokerages are saying. Citi has a buy rating on Cipla, target price at 1830 rupees. They've also pointed out that this paves the way for approvals from this unit and launches as soon as this fiscal, because the street was expecting those launches to happen until FY27, the delay to happen until FY27, but that's not happening now. In this fiscal itself, we could see new launches coming in from Cipla. Aside of that, Citi is building in $24 to $48 million worth of sales for the product in FY26 and FY27, which can go up to $25 to $40 million as well. And of course, this also improves the pipeline visibility for Cipla going forward. Company had reported good numbers, but management had given cautious outlook. But post this development, I think the outlook on Cipla will change going forward from here.
Absolutely. I think the markets were quite evidently waiting for this resolution of Goa plant, which was under US FDA scrutiny for quite some time. I think a resolution is a welcome step, and as you were mentioning, important for the US business because a lot of opportunities have come up for that particular geography.
All right, so that was about Cipla, but this brings us to the end of this edition of Closing Bell, the last edition in Samvat 2080. Of course, now we will see our viewers in Samvat 2081. But of course, Yatin, I would like to wish you and your entire Awaaz team a very happy Diwali and a crackling one, although, the festive spirit is missing from the last street, but I hope today and tomorrow, you have celebrations planned and you have a great Diwali. And of course, over the weekend, tomorrow as well, stay tuned to CNBC Awaaz as well as Money Control, because we'll be bringing you not just the Mahura trading session, but also a whole host of market veterans who will be talking about their outlook on where equities are headed in the new Samvat and which are the pockets that offer value now that everything, is looking a bit expensive after the kind of rally that we saw in Samvat 2080. But all of you, hope you have a great Diwali and a prosperous New Year from me and Yatin. Thanks a lot for watching. Stay tuned to Money Control for all your other news and updates.